Molly.
Hey, and Nancy Lynn.
Thanks for hanging out with us up here. We are at the top of beautiful, how do you say it here?
Mont Tremblant.
Mont Tremblant.
Yes.
She says it better than me.
Mont Tremblant. In the summertime, of course.
Yes, in the
Usually
summertime.
it's covered in lots and lots of snow.
Yes, but it is beautiful here today, and there are lots of people hanging out watching us record.
Yeah.
So
Wondering why we're not looking out the mountain.
we-
Instead, we're looking at them.
we have
which is
you
really cool.
facing the nice view instead of us. So.
Yes.
But it's very sunny today, so we've got our sunnies on and our hats and everything. This is actually Nancy's hat, so I'm wearing one of her hats for her dog training company. So we are both professional dog trainers, and we've known each other for years and years. And one thing that Nancy Lynn has always been awesome at is helping families who have a new puppy, and especially if they've never had a puppy, or if they have a brand new puppy and they haven't had a puppy in a while. You know,
Yeah,
so maybe you haven't had a puppy in a long time.
It's funny because a lot of people who've had a puppy or they've had a dog for 14, 15 years, they get a new puppy and it's been like 17 years since they've had a puppy.
Yeah.
And they go, I swear my last dog wasn't this bad.
Yeah. They seem to be getting harder and harder as time goes on.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing how that works. But I wanted to get together with Nancy Lynn and talk about the top things that new puppy owners worry about and the top things that puppy owners puppy owners need to know so that you can actually enjoy having a puppy instead of being frustrated and wanting to pull your hair out all the time.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Just getting to know them, their personality, it's all good.
Yeah.
Because you know what, like you only get to be a puppy once for the puppies, and it lasts a very short period of time. They grow up pretty quick. It's always fun when they're cute and little and stuff, but don't dread the stuff that you think is going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, or how do I make the puppy stop doing this, or why is the puppy doing that, and you don't have to book off 3 weeks of work and cancel your whole schedule and hang out with the puppy 100% of the time.
Right. Yeah. And you don't want
to do that.
Regretting getting one because of all the dramas that you go through when you have a new puppy. So, like they're not listening, they have a mind of their own, they pee everywhere, they're biting everybody, they're crying for attention, they won't sleep through the night, they hate their crate, you can't leave them alone, like all these things that come up for puppy owners, especially if you haven't had a puppy in a while or this is your first puppy ever.
First puppies are tough because people go, I really don't know what I'm doing.
Right, and these things can drive you crazy, and then you end up not enjoying having a puppy, and you end up being like, I cannot believe my family talked me into getting this dog.
Exactly.
So we don't want you to regret having a puppy, and that's what this video will help you with.
Yeah, he was so cute and quiet till I got him home.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they're cute.
Yeah, so one of the things, every puppy's a little bit different, and so, it's hard to decipher, can't say the word decipher, that, how much food the puppy needs, when you feed them, how often you feed them, how long do you leave them alone? Do you give them alone time? Do you let them hang out with you? Do you carry them around? Like, do you let them figure things out on their own? You got to balance things to be able to give them some alone time, some time with you. You got to give them structure.
Right.
How much structure do I give them? Am I being too strict because it's a puppy?
Yep.
What do I let them get away with, and what is unacceptable?
And what do you do if they're destructive? What do you do if they're just disrupting your whole life and taking all your time, and you feel like you can't leave them at home on their own, you have to go to work. There's so many things to consider and think about and plan and know how to handle.
Exactly.
So chances are you are here watching this video because you want your puppy to listen and be happy and be friendly, and you want to enjoy owning a puppy, and you're just thinking about getting one soon, and you want to make sure you're completely prepared so you can avoid all those things that we were just talking about, all those kind of horror story things.
Yeah, because it is a commitment to get a puppy, especially if you've never had a dog before. It can be kind of overwhelming. Yeah, so this is where you want to be to get some hands-on advice to be able to understand that not every puppy is exactly the same, and what should I do? What's the right things to do? I'm not going to tell you that there's one specific thing you do as the solution to everything. It doesn't work that way. So we're going to talk about all kinds of different situations and ideas.
Yeah. So in either of the cases, you just got a puppy or you're thinking of getting a puppy, you're in the right place, and don't be stressed. And here we were talking about it before, and we decided that I'm going to ask Nancy Lynn, in all her many, many, many years of helping tons and tons of families. It's got to be over 1,000 by now, right?
I stopped counting.
Yeah, it's a lot of families with their dogs, with their listening skills and with the dog's behavior. We're going to talk about the top 3 things that new puppy owners need to know in order to avoid the biggest headaches.
Right.
And enjoy owning a puppy and be able to raise the dog to be, that perfect dog that listens and is a fun addition to the family instead of being any kind of burden.
Exactly. You don't want it to be a regret.
Right. Yeah, so let's start with a question. What do you think is one of the biggest fears that people have when they are about to get a new puppy or they just brought one home?
Okay. I think the biggest fear is that they don't really know what to do. They haven't prepared properly, or they think that, it starts now. You can start before the puppy gets home. So one of the things that I tell everyone is, be prepared before the puppy comes home. Have things like the crate and some things done and the house set up and, you puppy proofed and all that kind of stuff. You've done that first.
So then probably their biggest fear is that they're doing everything wrong, and then they feel uncertain about it, and then they go and they're worried about making their dog's behavior worse, and they start panicking and they start Googling everything.
That's right. And I mean, everybody's an expert, right? Your aunt, your cousin, your neighbor, everybody who's had a dog tells you, oh, you don't do that, and do this and do whatever. And the worst thing you can do is try getting as much advice as you can get from everybody out there.
Yeah.
And Googling it is probably your worst thing, because it varies depending on the personality and the temperament of the dog. Depends on your situation. It could be your energy levels are off with the dog. It could be a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
It could be like...
'Cause they're all different.
Yeah, they're all different, and personalities are different, and not everybody responds to the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you have a thyroid or a weight problem, and so you try dieting all the time, but you end up going to the doctor, and the doctor says, oh, you've got a thyroid problem. You need to be on medication for this. That's why you can't lose the weight, or you can't sleep, or whatever it is, right? And so we can try all kinds of things on our own, but until we actually go to the expert that looks for the root of the problem, sometimes the two things don't look like they're related.
Right. Yeah, so if you just Google what's the best diet to lose 10 pounds, it might work, it might not, because your problem might be more specific than just needing a diet to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So Googling can be give you a lot of general conflicting information, a lot of things that aren't specific to your dog and your dog's personality and that kind of thing. So that'd probably be the biggest number one tip is don't get lost in Googling everything.
Yeah, and I mean, and like everybody has a dog that they've done something different with, right?
Right.
And the reason why it's different is because all the dogs respond differently to different things. So, it's not always a one thing fixes everything.
Right.
We might have to try a few different things, but there's a modification of everything.
Right, yeah, so they need to avoid the frustration of just kind of trying all kinds of random advice when really they just might need to have like clear direction, especially after understanding their dog's specific personality, their dog's breed's personality. And that
So that is a good point. And the biggest thing to look for first is you want to know what the puppy's personality is like. There's temperament issues that are like, is the dog very soft, meaning that it's kind of fearful of things. It's kind of, sits in the background. It's not the guy jumping up in the front going, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the dominant temperament or the strong temperament may be a dog that goes, hey, I'm going to make up my own minds and I'm brave enough to check this out all by myself.
Yeah.
Okay. So how we approach those two different dogs is very, very different. Even if they have the same problem, there's a different way to approach them.
Right. So if their dog is more submissive and soft versus dominant and kind of more pushy and bossy and brave and all that, it will change how they do their training. It'll change how they take advice. Like if you go Googling how do I get my dog to stop jumping all over people, that you might get advice that's more kind of geared toward a dog that's more bossy, and your dog might not be that personality type. So
that's right. And like, why is the dog doing it? Is it because the dog is excited? Is it because the dog is dominant? Is it because the dog is fearful? Like, you got to know the basis of where the behavior comes from.
Right. Yeah. So having that knowledge of just knowing that you need to figure that out first can give you a lot more clear direction when it comes to taking advice. And then anything that you follow, especially if it's clear and straightforward and simple and kind of, step by step and something that works universally for everybody, but knowing your own dog's personality type in advance going in helps you apply it a lot more effectively.
That's right.
Yep. And I love how this fits into what you teach puppy owners, not only at your place in Ottawa, but in your online courses.
Yeah.
Because knowing all those things, all the things that you just explained, and then putting it together with the framework and the steps for new puppy owners that they can follow, and all the things that they really need to know, that makes it so much easier to avoid the mistakes and get the kind of family harmony that you want with your puppy as soon as possible.
Yep.
So there is a foolproof way to make sure that you enjoy having a new puppy without losing your mind and without taking a ton of time that you don't have. You've got a busy schedule like everybody has.
Yeah, the one thing is the biggest problem I see is that people get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They get overwhelmed and they start to, try to do too much, overthink, try too many things, they panic,
right?
That kind of stuff. So you don't have to do that. And I mean, and the whole thing basically...
It's really just about 4 main things.
Yeah, it's like 4 sections of the course. And I mean, the first part of the course is just all the things you really should look at or do like before the puppy comes home. So you know, you want to puppy proof the house. You want to get all the equipment and things that you need. You want to make sure you have cleaning supplies. You want to make sure that you've got a quiet place for the puppy. You decide where the puppy's going to be, you know, with this crate, and is it like a good spot that gives the puppy some, you know, some autonomy. That's first. You don't want to have like all the neighbors over and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Initially, you want to just let them get settled in. The second part is when you do get them home. Yeah, like what do you do first? Like you don't, you know, you let them settle in. Like literally let them settle in. That's part of it. And then of course, the third section is all about the crate training and housebreaking, because that's the biggest problem everybody has. And we go through a bunch of different scenarios for that.
Right.
And finally, it's just all about socialization with the puppy and the crucial time frames that you need to pay attention to, because it goes really fast.
Right. Right.
Yeah, like you only get one chance.
Yeah, so that's really, and that can really be tip number 3 for them, is that there's really only 4 things that they need to pay attention to at first. Preparing for the puppy,
Yep.
what to do when the puppy comes home, and things that they can, if they already have the puppy home, things that they can go do now if they
Yep,
didn't
exactly.
do it
You
before.
can do lots of prep work.
Yeah, so lots of prep work, and if you already have the puppy home now, there's those things you can go back and do. A lot of them now,
Exactly.
even after you have the puppy home. So you already got the puppy, you still are fine. So prepping, bring the puppy home, introducing everything properly, and then housebreaking, crate training, making sure they don't have accidents in the house,
Yeah.
making sure they're comfortable and happy, making sure they know that you can leave them alone when you have to go to work and they'll be fine and they're happy and safe, and then socializing,
Exactly.
so they're friendly.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not going to be able to plan for, like, you can try and anticipate all you want.
Right.
But again, based on the temperament, the type of dog, the personality of the dog, all that kind of stuff, that's going to vary.
Yeah.
So your response is going to have to vary, and that's what we go into in the courses. The details of that is what people struggle with.
Right, yeah, and it's what I think is so great about that is that if they have that direction, if you have that direction in those 4 main areas, and something is still going wrong or you have any trouble, at least you know that you have all of those bases covered, and then you can look into, well, is it something specific with my dog?
That's
my
right.
dog's personality? Is it
That's right.
something else that's going wrong? Because I know I have these things covered, so you
That's
can have
right.
that confidence that you have those bases.
That's right.
Those bases covered.
That's right. And then when we get to that point, if there's still issues, there are other avenues to go down. And, you know, some of them can
They can
involve
talk to you.
medical. Well, they can talk to, no, not even talk to me, but I mean, some things might even involve the vet.
Yeah.
You don't know at this point, because you may not know what the source of the issue is.
Yeah. So it sets them up, at least for knowing that they know that they're doing a lot of the things correctly.
That's right. They've
So they
tried
don't have to
everything
worry.
that should normally work, right?
Right,
So, you know, you might try 2 or 3 things before you find the right thing, but at least you'll get all that information.
Right, yeah, because then you already know that so it's so much easier to figure out how your puppy's mind works and what they're thinking, and then again, it's easier to have confidence and know you're handling everything the right way. So you have this great story about the Frenchie you told me about that you trained.
Oh yeah, no, this is a perfect example. Okay,
Yeah.
so I had a little Frenchie that came in, and you know, it should have been house trained by this point. Like it wasn't like 10 weeks or anything. It was almost getting close to 4, 5 months, 6 months. And normally you can get a dog house trained. You know, ideally I like to do within a week, 10
Right.
days.
Yeah.
You know, so that you don't have problems and they're getting through the night. And so, you know, I gave this client of mine a whole bunch of suggestions. I said, are you doing this thing? Are you doing that thing? Try this thing, try that thing. And she tried them all, and within a week she said, you know, I'm still having issues. I'm taking the dog out, and the dog comes in and pees in the house. And I went, okay. I said, well, the only other thing I can think of is it, and again, I'm not a vet, and I don't want to, you know, suggest vet things, but anything that I think might be medical based, I'll tell them, you know, go get checked out at the vet, tell them this is the problem you're having. And I said to her, I wouldn't be surprised if the dog has a bladder infection. And sure enough, she went to the vet, came back the next week and said, yep, that's what it was. The dog's on meds to clear up the bladder infection and everything's fine.
Right. Yeah, but if you didn't know if you're doing the housebreaking stuff correctly, you might just keep trying and Googling and being like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I need puppy
Well,
pads.
see, that's
or
what she
maybe I
did.
need this
Yeah,
and
and that's what she did at first.
Yeah.
And puppy pads are like, I try to stay away from those if I don't have to use them, because that just confuses the puppy more in most cases. But I'll get into all that in the course.
Yeah. So that's where it's so great to have that clear direction and those simple steps in those 4 areas, because then you don't have to just keep trying things when it might be something completely different. You know you have your bases covered.
Exactly.
You're confident you're doing things correctly, and then you can move on from there if you still have any trouble with your puppy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here is where it gets really good for you, and we move spots because I was getting sunburned in the Canadian sun.
It actually gets warm here.
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
it does, and it was beautiful yesterday on top of the mountain, but I wanted to keep having this chat with you without, turning to a crisp. So here we are on Nancy Lynn's porch at her chalet here in Mont Tremblant. I'll say
You
it
said it
correct.
right.
Oh, good.
Let's say it right.
Okay, so and we're about to go back to her place in Ottawa later today, but before we do, I want to tell you all about how this gets really, really good for you now. Nancy Lynn can only work with a limited number of people here personally in Canada because she's so good. And she's booked out for months, right? Usually
Till the fall
months.
right now, yeah.
Yeah. So at the time of this recording, it's several months out that she's booked. So she's great with dogs and with people, and she's such a great teacher, and she just knows tons. So she actually has an online course just for puppy owners, just for you.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
If you're just getting a puppy, or you're about to get a puppy, or you just got a puppy, haven't had a puppy in a long time, and want to make sure you're prepared, all that stuff we've been talking about. So right now, if you are frustrated with what your dog is doing, or that the things that you don't want them to do, all the things that all the horror stories we were talking about before, or you want to make sure your dog listens to you and grows up and is happy and friendly, and you enjoy that puppyhood time as much as possible, then you're in the right place. If you're busy, you don't have time to go to group classes and for the next several weeks, and you don't always get what you need from those anyway, it's inconvenient, and you really just need that direction that you would get from something like that, but you're busy. You need it from the comfort of your own home, so you can be confident that you have what you need to know without wasting any of that time at all. So Nancy Lynn has exactly what you need.
Yeah, the one thing that I find is tough in group classes is you get the socialization part a little bit, which is great, but the problem is that it's so generic that you don't get to deal with your own dog's personality.
Yeah.
So that there usually isn't enough time in the class for the instructors to be able to kind of pinpoint some of those things.
Yeah.
So
that happens all the time. I see that all the time with my own dog training clients too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it's nice to be able to have that that go-to as a generic to start, but then when some of those things aren't working, then it's nice to be able to get the answer why.
So in Nancy Lynn's course, you're going to learn about those 4 things that we just talked about, so that you're prepared for having your new puppy, and you can stop making some of the biggest mistakes that we as dog trainers see puppy owners make all the time. You can potty train your puppy once and for all, so you don't have to worry about all the accidents in the house, and have that friendly, happy puppy that you raise to listen reliably to you as they grow up, so you can enjoy when they get big as well, and not just when they're cute and little. And that will make having a dog in your family so much more fun. Yes. And like you said, you only get to experience your dog's puppyhood one time.
only happens once, and it's really short, and it should be a fun time.
Yes, it should be great, and you can definitely enjoy it, and there's lots of ways to not enjoy it if you're not prepared.
That's right.
So this course is 100% online, and it's completely self-paced, and it's short, and it gives you exactly what you need to know. I've gone through the whole course. I've watched the whole thing. It's awesome. It has printouts and checklists for you, so that saves you a ton of time. And it's perfect for you if you're busy.
And
you can go out.
You can actually go through the whole thing even before you get your puppy to get started, and just make some notes and things like that. So when the puppy comes in, you're not, running back to the lessons going, oh my God, what do I do with this?
And you can go back to it. And if you already have a puppy, you can go back and redo some of the things that you haven't done.
And the other thing that's really, really going to be cool is you actually get to talk to me.
Yes.
So
that is one of the things that is the one downside of this program, is that it's only one, is that it's available. It's not available all the time. It's available now. It's not available all the time, and here's why: because it comes with that super rare bonus.
Yeah, you get to actually contact me and talk to me about the specific things with your puppy, and I will help you out. Yep,
and then she will make sure that you know exactly what you need to do specifically for your dog and your dog's personality and breed and your lifestyle, how busy you are, all that stuff.
Yeah, so how it's going to work is once you download the course and you go through it and you have any questions, we're going to have an implementation part. I can't say that. Implementation call. For some reason I can't say that this morning. Implementation call.
I'm here to translate.
Yes, and my mouth's not working yet. And I'm going to be able to go through things directly with you in regards to your own puppy and be able to help you out at that point, so that once you've done all the groundwork and you've got the puppy home and you've experimented a little bit, there's going to be some things you're definitely going to have questions about, and so we'll go through the details when it comes to breed specific and your specific dog and what's going on. So that should make a big difference.
And that's something that people don't get in group classes. I see a lot of that with dog training clients that come to me after they've been to a group class, that they struggled in the group class because the trainer doesn't have time to talk to you.
That's right. Well, even that, and if they talk to you afterwards, a lot of trainers are rushed through the process.
Right.
And, sometimes you can get a few things out of it, but most of the time it's not specific help to you.
Right. Yeah, it'd be good to have that extra specific help, somebody who gets to know your situation, gives you that extra feedback.
Exactly.
And I know you won't be able to offer this bonus forever especially because the enrollment for this course is not open all the time. It's only open for a few days right now.
That's right.
So you can, the more people who enroll and the faster everybody's jumping in, the faster that bonus will have to go away.
That's
because
right.
You won't have as much.
Because there's only going to be so much time that I
Right.
can schedule to do these calls with everybody. So, yeah, you definitely want to get to it
Yeah. Make sure you jump on this right now.
before it's gone.
Yeah, enrollment will close very, very soon anyway. And once you have this course, you have it forever, which is awesome. And you can use that bonus whenever you want, whenever
right.
you like.
And also, I mean, I'm even going to guarantee
Yes.
that if
that's right.
if you don't get anything out of it, or you don't like what you hear, or it doesn't work for you, and we've had the discussions and everything else, then I'm going to actually offer a money back guarantee, because that's how confident I am that we can get you going.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, which I think is amazing that you can go through the whole course and you can talk to Nancy Lynn and apply everything and have plenty of time. You have a whole month to do all of that. And if for any reason you didn't like it, you can send her an email. She'll just give you your money back. No
Yeah.
questions asked.
Yeah, no
hoops
questions.
to jump through. Yeah.
No hoops.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah, it's all
This
good.
is amazing.
Because I think you're going to be happy, and you're going to be spending so much time enjoying your puppy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's awesome because you want to make sure that they get the help they need, and you don't want them to have to feel like that they pay for it if it didn't work for them.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, my big thing is that I'm only happy when you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, it makes what I do that much more rewarding. And
Yeah.
if people have trouble and whatever, I will try to figure out why. And
Right.
we'll go from there. So I'm not just going to leave you in the lurch.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's so caring and loving and sweet.
I just
She's
can't
so
help
great.
it. I can't help
She's
it.
one of my favorite people. That's why I'm here visiting her in Canada. Okay, well, thank you very much so much for watching this video, and we will make sure you stay on track with your puppy and stay in touch with Nancy Lynn, and let us know if you have any questions about the course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks for watching.
I'm looking forward to everything we're going to do together.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for watching. Thanks
Bye.
for visiting.
See ya. Bye.